Hey guys, welcome to the place to be if you want the dirt, the scoop, the warts and all rundown of some of the best and worst movies ever to grace our screens. Today's delightful treat is the one and only Braveheart, a classic and most magnificent film of stellar quality, a real superstar of its time, and Gibson at his very best as William Wallace. Yeah! Solid, kidney-punching excellence in all of its grisly glory. Run and you'll live, at least a while, and dying in your bed many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for just one chance to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom? Mel Gibson, who directed and produced Braveheart, has transformed himself into a believable mercenary driven by revenge, passion and love, and he really does put his heart into this blood and thunder saga as both director and star, and the end result is a real bold and passionate film. The story follows a Scottish peasant named William Wallace, who's pushed into leading a rebellion against the tyranny of the English rule when his wife is murdered. Scottish warrior William Wallace leads his countrymen in a rebellion to free his homeland from the tyranny of King Edward I of England. And in this film, he delivers a performance of a lifetime. He really does, and you will be enthralled. William Wallace, Mel Gibson, sets out on a quest for vengeance that quickly turns into a crusade for freedom for the entire country. It doesn't get any better than this, and Mel Gibson didn't just star in this movie, but like I said, he directed, produced it, and well, it just landed. In an October 2009 interview, Gibson admitted that the film was heavily fictitious, but claimed the changes had been made for dramatic purposes, and he said it didn't bother him because he said, "What I'm giving you is a cinematic experience, and I think that films are there first to entertain, then to teach, and then to inspire." Then it is widely acknowledged that the real discrepancy between William Wallace's true dimensions and the much less imposing Mel Gibson, and that was even a realisation that Mel Gibson had himself, but he took a chance with some artistic licence in relation to this Scottish rebel hero story, and well, I think it paid off. You see, Mel Gibson initially turned down the role of William Wallace, feeling that he was too old for the part. Gibson was 38 at the time, while the real Wallace died at 35. But Paramount Pictures would only finance the film if Gibson starred in it, so he agreed. Without trying to get the history perfect, this movie is simply flawless. The film follows a young Wallace from his early childhood, where he has grown up early on to hate the occupying English army under the rule of the despotic King Edward Longshanks, played with great aplomb by Patrick McGoohan. Then, when he loses his father and older brother in yet another betrayal by Edward, it is clear that now Wallace, older, wiser, is only awaiting one final provocation before he accepts the freedom fighter mantle and fights back with some relish on behalf of his downtrodden people. Gibson's muscular, gritty and bold direction, coupled with his athleticism and conviction in the lead role as William Wallace, captivates the audience from the beginning, and you can see the fire in him building as the film moves along. In Braveheart, he's completely intense and committed whilst being completely sane at the same time, and it just really works well. Braveheart is a stunning depiction of the capacity of the human spirit to overcome the odds, defy tyranny, be prepared to make a stand, achieve justice, respect and dignity against oppression. The raw power and emotion coming off the screen in practically every single scene in Braveheart is like an inferno, and you will be stunned at the cinematography. On that note, aside from a few scenes in the Scottish Highlands, nearly all of the movie was filmed in Ireland. Sometimes the accents from the cast are occasionally as convincing as the King's Promises, but in saying that, there are good use of crowd scenes, and then we have the brutal, no-holds-barred depictions of battleground warfare and gory fights, but still laced with some upbeat and earthy humour, and then you throw in a smattering of lovely Highland romance, and you have the makings of a good and very entertaining film. The Battle of Stirling has to be the second most graphic piece of footage ever shot. It's up there and packs a solid and nasty punch to keep you enthralled and sickened all at the same time. Interestingly, when asked by a local why the Battle of Stirling Bridge was filmed on an open plain, Gibson answered, "The bridge, it's just got in the way." "Aye," the local answered, "that's what the English found." The extreme violence as well as the human compassion in the movie are overwhelming in its brilliancy. In fact, the rough cut of the film initially contained much more violence than the final product. So fearing an NC-17 from the MPAA after negative test reaction, Mel Gibson went back and personally edited some of the film's most graphic scenes to show the brutality more off-screen. This is a rousing piece of cinema and you will be enthralled, and despite the well-admitted and obvious historical inaccuracies, it seems that this was needed in order for it to tell a hugely entertaining, engaging and inspirational story full of hope, courage and for standing up for your rights against all kinds of tyranny. As I've said, the battle sequences are remarkably gritty and violent, which adds to the authentic tone of the film, and the composer James Horner provides a sweeping, unforgettable and truly majestic score that's incredibly powerful and one that will give you goosebumps from years from now every time it comes on. The film will leave you under no illusion of the inhumanity and the vile and despicable things that are carried out in the name of greed, lust, power and control, and for evil intentions. This is a groundbreaking film and does an exceptional job at depicting both the valour, the savage nature and the absolute horror of war, and the lengths that people in history had to go to stand up against tyranny. The bone-crunching chaos of a medieval melee has rarely ever been so effectively captured on screen. A simple message of keeping up the fight, because sometimes the oppressive forces won't curtail and they will not draw back a foot, so neither should you in your quest. It is by far one of the most epic stories ever told on screen. The Academy Award-winning war epic and masterpiece Braveheart is an extraordinary film that set a new bar for the genre and is an absolute sculpted work of art that depicts every emotion of human existence. This movie is beautifully shot and sounds incredible, and the body of Braveheart is loaded with outstanding battle scenes, solid acting, incredible editing, amazing dialogue that is so rooted in inspiration, courage, hope, belief, political strategy, philosophy and stunning human experience of love, desire, passion, suffering and identity, and where freedom isn't free and sometimes it takes death, gruesome and horrible sacrifice to survive at that time, and with parallels very much to the world we live in today. Yes, this movie shows how freedom is important, so Mel Gibson, take a bow me old mucker, you smashed this one out of the park. Gibson has crafted a historical epic. Braveheart stands tall amongst the biggest and the best. Gladiator, Lawrence of Arabia, Ben-Hur, El Cid, Spartacus. This is without a doubt, hands down, one of the best movies ever made and is easily in anyone's top 30 list of greatest movies ever made. Braveheart is as close to perfection as a movie can be, and its artwork, and it is as good as any film in a toe-to-toe battle, and the last half an hour was highly unpredictable and yet it conveys such a powerful message. Braveheart is a stunning spectacle of blood and heart, a virile, captivating, punishing epic, and remains a thrilling and entertaining film. So watch this again with bells on and just sit back and smile, my friend. Sit back and smile.